day. Indiana has been known for improbable comebacks, but not last night. What OKC changed in Game 2 and what it means going forward. Plus, it was only one game, but our panel saw some troubling signs for the Pacers here. Can they unlock their stars to take back momentum? Big Perk, he has the big blueprint. And speaking of stars, we canvass the league for the latest news on Kevin Durant, Cooper Flagg, Darius Garland, and more. Shams is stopping by for a live report. NBA Today starts right now. We are live from the Paycom Center here in Oklahoma City for the next hour, that is, and then we are all off to Indianapolis as the NBA Finals continues, and we have a series. I'm Malika Andrews alongside Kendrick Perkins, Chiney Ogwumike, and Brian Windhorst. And my friends, last night there was a storm outside, there was some tornado warnings, but there was confirmed thunder in this building here. Chet Holmgren, Perk called for him needing to be more aggressive offensively here in Game 2. He did just that, Brian.
Came out with an aggressive mindset. You could tell he was feeling bad for 2 days about that Game 1 box score.
He had 9 points in the first quarter, by the way, after having 6 in all of Game 1. But the defense, Chiney, was swarming this Pacers team.
This is their signature, what they were able to do, slowing down SGA Haliburton, saying, give me that at the paint and forcing deflections and steals. They're not new to this, they're true to this.
41 points, by the way, in the first half. That matches the fewest points for the Pacers all postseason. And then there is the eye of the storm in SGA, Brian.
Yep, this was a much more controlled performance by SGA. This was an MVP SGA in this game.
Certainly, the little reverse there. And then a few minutes later, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he gets all the way to the cup. He was doing this all night, in control of this one in the first half. But Perk, I know that you were big on this. It wasn't just SGA, it was the others, Malika, as you always say.
I mean, we know what Alex Caruso is going to bring in off the bench, that championship pedigree. But I did not have Aaron Wiggins on my bingo card for Game 2.
You know who did?
Ooh.
Mark Daigneault. Here's him talking about Wiggins after the game.
I give him a lot of credit because he was a huge part of our success this season. And in the playoffs, his role's been variant night to night, but he hangs in there.
I love y'all. I love y'all. But Mark Daigneault was saying they hang in there. Then it's time for SGA to finish things off. This is what the others do. They get you in a position to just put the dagger. SGA, once again, a little mid-range.
Good luck.
Hitting the step back there. Let's just go to under 4 to play, putting the finishing touches on this. Drives. Finishes through some contact there. He finishes with 34 points, Chiney. The Thunder even up the series at a game apiece. Here's SGA after the win.
Every game's a reset, and basketball reminds you of that. It's very humbling. It shows you that if you don't stay in the moment, if you don't come ready to play, no matter who you are, no matter what you just did, you can get beat and beat pretty bad. And we've learned those lessons, so we should be ready to go.
We were the aggressor tonight for much of the game. Even when we had a lead, I thought the guys did a really good job of keeping the foot on the gas, especially defensively. I thought we really amped it up on that end of the floor. There's a couple times where we got off track on both ends, but we were able to course correct pretty quickly. So I thought the guys did a really good job of just recognizing when we weren't where we needed to be and getting there quicker.
It's rare to see the Thunder lose 2 games in a row, right? Last night they improved to 17-2 after a loss, a perfect 5-0 in the postseason, Brian. I know everyone was stuck on, Mark Daigneault, he's going to start the same starting lineup, but didn't go very well in Game 1. What changed in Game 2?
Their entire offensive mindset. In Game 1, they threw the fewest number of passes of any team in the entire playoffs. That was emanating from the way number 2 was playing. I know he had 38 points. Yeah. I know he shot the ball with a decent percentage, but that was not Shai. Over the previous 3 playoff games, he took 85 shots. Now, I know that Kobe is his mentor, but even Kobe was like, that was a little much, Shai. Look at the way he retrofitted his game. 21 shots, 12 free throws in Game 2, 8 assists after just 3 assists in Game 1. He obviously got his game going. The rest of the Thunder got their game going. We saw a much more trademark Thunder performance.
And 4 steals to add to that, by the way.
Right.
Go ahead, Chiney. I just had to add the 4 steals. He did on both
you got to put all the numbers in there. Look, I don't judge OKC by their stats because their consistency is on lock from SGA to their defense. I judge them on championship level plays, those hustle plays, like you said, the first to the floor plays. And we saw a number of them in Game 2. This one, for instance, first of all, you need a superstar that's unguardable. This man has been in his bag, 54% shooting from the mid-range. It does not matter who's in front of him. Look at this tween cross, a little contact contact here behind the back. Tough mid-range shot. That is automatic for SGA, aka MVP. Now, again, defense fuels their offense. I love the physicality here. First to the floor. You're going to dive. You're going to keep the ball active, and you are rewarded on the other side because SGA can continue to cook, but instead you pass up a good shot right here for a great one. First, he's like, move. I can cook right here. Clear out Caruso, but he does not settle. Watch SGA get to his bag. All right, I'm going to size you up with my size. I'm 6'6". I'm going to draw two, be unselfish, and kick it over to Caruso, who had plenty of room. So that's how good things turn to great things. Defense to offense. Caruso, 20 points, 4 threes, and it's all led by their defense and SGA's mentality and how they feed off of each other. Championship level plays that we saw from the Thunder in Game 2.
What was the biggest difference for SGA Game 1 to Game 2?
I think he slowed down, but to me, it was him making guys better, right? It's one thing to go out there and get your 30-plus, but it's another thing to be able to get Chet wide open shots. And then we saw the ball movement. He didn't get the assist, but that led from his hockey assist of the hockey assist of the hockey assist to the assist. And when you're playing that type of way and you're drawing that much attention, then all of a sudden it's opening up everything else for everybody else.
Well, I know it wasn't just SGA. In fact, I hear Kendrick Perkins spied something.
Again? I'm Kendrick Perkins, better known as Big Perk, and nothing gets past me. Freeze! Just when you thought it did get past me, there I am. I spy a problem. I spy it all. Carry the hell on. You like that, huh? You like that, huh? Look at that laugh over there. He like that. Hey, look, I do. I see it all. I spy something. The Thunder have something that no other team in the league has, a secret weapon off the bench, and his name is Alex Caruso. He comes in off the bench, and he's a complete game changer. Look at the first series. He's guarding Jaren Jackson Jr. He guarded him in that series. Game 7 of the semifinals, he guarded the best player in the world in Nikola Jokic, and then we saw him all up in Anthony Edwards, making him uncomfortable. This is textbook 101 defense at his finest. We're talking about Ant-Man. And last night, he had Pascal Siakam so frustrated with his one-on-one defenses, especially at the end of that first half.
Yeah, it really was. This is the textbook performance for the Oklahoma City Thunder. In fact, I was riding the elevator this morning with SGA's dad, which seems to be a common occurrence for all of us all staying across the street right in the same hotel. And he said to me, man, this is the script. Can we just run back this movie? Because this is what this Thunder fan base is certainly accustomed to seeing. On the flip side of all of this, you have Tyrese Haliburton. He was the hero in Game 1. He never got the chance last night. Here's what he had to say.
I mean, this is who they are defensively. They got a lot of different guys who can guard the ball, fly around. They're really physical, force the officials to, let us play a little bit more. So just got to do a better job playing through there. I think I've had 2 really poor first halves. So, I just got to figure out how to be better earlier in games. But kudos to them. They're a great defensive team. But, watch the film, see where I can get better.
So something just to note here, Pacers reporter Scott Agnes, he posted this video of Haliburton, just a little bit of a limp there as he leaves the podium. Hopefully he's okay, but we just wanted to show this video. We'll pay attention to that going forward. Perk, you were adamant last night that they need more from Tyrese Haliburton, but my thing is he's not necessarily a 30 points a night type of guy.
Well, he shouldn't be putting up the numbers like the 6th man off the OKC Thunder bench. Guess how many points Alex Caruso got in these 2 games? Come on.
He got 20 last night.
He got 31.
Oof.
Guess how many Tyrese Haliburton got? He got 31. So he has the same amount of points as OKC's 6th man that's coming in off the bench. Unacceptable. Guess how many free throws Tyrese Haliburton got in this series?
Same number as you.
0. Thank you, Wendy. 0. So I'm not just picking on him. I'm not trying to find a reason not to call him a superstar.
Right.
No, I'm watching the game and I'm wondering, why are you not being aggressive? I understand OKC has a great defense. I get that. But you're playing one-on-one at time. You're not even attempting or trying to put some type of pressure on their defense and the officials,
right.
And that's unacceptable.
Well, maybe one of the reasons he's not getting to the free throw line, you know how many times over the last 2 seasons he's had 10 or more drives in a game against Oklahoma City?
How many?
Same number of free throws.
0.
Right. 0. We're starting to sound like DoorDash 0. It's the same. It's the same number as his free throws, right? And so this Oklahoma City defense, it changes the way Haliburton's able to play.
When did we hear this? We just heard this in the last round when we were counting Ann Edwards shots. We were like, why does he only get up 14 shots? This is what happens. You mentioned, because to me, the Oklahoma City era is the last 2 seasons. Over the last 6 games, 2 games last year, 2 games this year, 2 games this series, Haliburton's averaging 11 shots. And look, he is not an elite scorer. He's not a guy that averages 30 points like Shea does. But when he scores over 20 points, they are 7-1 in the playoffs, okay? And in those games, when he gets over 20 points, he also averages 11 assists. He doesn't just only shoot. When he's being super aggressive, it benefits the entire team. So while I admit that the Pacers have a very democratic system of offense, that they thrive on having 6 or 7 guys getting double figures, they need to find a way to get Haliburton going, because you know what? In Game 1, even though we hit the game winner, the Thunder were silently very happy with the way they defended him. He only scored 14 in that game. Last night, he only had 5 through 3 quarters. They like the way they're playing against him.
I know that the Thunder defense was on his mind because I saw a specific shot early in the game where I was like, okay, I have to be able to knock down the long distance 3 in order to free up my ability to get to the rack. It was this play right here, first quarter, midway through. All right, he's bringing the ball up. Normally he's a speed demon downhill. Instead, he settles for the shot 31 feet away with no one really near him. And I was like, oh, interesting. 4 out of his 5 shots in the first half were threes. That's not normal when you're trying to be aggressive. Again, that allows the defense to get going. Caruso, credit him. He knows that he does not want to go left. He wants to shoot off of his right. The whole left side of the court is free, but SGA is ready to switch. And then they don't even care about that slip screen short roll. They're playing the ball because they know Hallie, the game scouting report, is he wants to get his mid-range shot, that game-winning shot. Instead, they all hawk the ball, good line of defense, and they go the other way and force a foul. And then on this last possession, I like this right here because in transition, this is an area that they can really seize with Haliburton. He's like, hey, move out of the way. I got Hartenstein on me. No, instead, this is why the Thunder is successful. They still fight back on their matchups, hawk the ball, make it difficult for Hallie. So when he started off the game early shooting those threes, it made it harder for him to find his rhythm later. I'd prefer for him to get to the float game. I think it was 2 for 2 or like 3 for 3 when he got to the floater, because when he gets to that floater, instead of, shooting, he sometimes passes, but sometimes that's the highest percentage shot, not the threes early in the game.
Right, and I love that last clip that you showed also because it was Siakam that brought the ball up. Sometimes it seems like the Pacers are most successful when it's not Haliburton bringing the ball up.
That's what was the key to their comeback in Game 1. It was actually Andrew Nembhard playing point guard.
Right.
But maybe they can use him off the ball to create some offense. I will say, in the second half of this game, the Pacers did score 66 points. They did shoot over 50% from the field. They have found pockets where they can score on this Thunder team, but they force you to be consistent, and that's what Tyrese Haliburton has not been.
Are we focusing too much on Haliburton's scoring and not his assist numbers? Because when he gets 8 or more assists, that's sort of the sweet spot for them.
Yeah, but he's not going to get those assists. Like, a lot of those assists come because they're able to push the pace. Now you're looking at someone that is a team that is more athletic than you, right, with bigs that could run the floor like some damn, what is it?
Gazelles?
Deer. We're going to say deer.
Gazelle.
You know what I'm saying? I saw last night.
like gazelle.
Last night, I thought they had so many opportunities. I'm like, oh, the Pacers, they're about to be on a fast break, and all of a sudden I see Chet Holmgren break it up.
Right.
Right? Like, and that's what you're dealing with. Again, he's going to have to play in the half-court set. Like, if you're talking about greatness and you're talking about being him or one of those guys, you're going to have to make tough contested twos, tough contested threes, and you damn sure can't have the same amount of free throws as me.
And I think when we talk about superstardom, we noticed even though the Thunder lost in Game 1, how many shots did SGA shoot in the first quarter? He shot 12 because he understands he has to be aggressive and get his game going. I think Hallie's going to do the same thing Game 3.
I was just looking at that 10-1 number, their record with it when he has at least 8 assists, and that's why I'm like, all right, well maybe if he can get his teammates going, that creates a little bit more space for him. I'm told we got to go to break, so let's do it. And we're going to check in on the WNBA. Some must-hear comments from Becky Hammon after
early in the season.
Brutal loss here for the Aces. And Kelsey Plum's wondering what's going on with these rookies these days.
Plum's been balling. Plum dog.
What y'all got going on in the W?
It's always spicy.
With his second straight 30-point night, SGA joined a list of all-time greats. Where does he rank, and what can Indy do to slow him down? That's a question for Mr. Windhorst, of course.
At Sportsbook.
NBA Today coming to you live from OKC, and this city belongs to the MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. What a night he had to tie up this NBA Finals series, and he put on a clinic here of how to use screens. This is our Hyundai electric moment here, Perk.
I mean, look, using a ball screen, and I love how it's high, right? They set it high up the floor. That way he has the ability to attack downhill, gives you that shoulder, rises above the defender, knockdown shot. Here you go again. He rejects the screen. Now he's getting downhill again, and what we call this, from the top of the key, Malika, little slippery eel.
This is what they were doing all game long, though. It's the space and how high they're setting these 33 feet up.
Why he's a nightmare is because he's excellent at splitting screens and hard and very shifty, but also he's great finishing with both hands at the rim through contact.
Well, this is the longest distance in his career that you're seeing these screens set, and it showed in his scoring performance. Here's what Rick Carlisle had to say when he was talking about the offensive performance of the league MVP.
Shai, you can mark down 34 points before they even get on the plane tomorrow, for the next game. I mean, the guy's going to score.
Score he did, but he also assisted Brian.
Yeah, the big difference in this game was how much he was getting his teammates involved. Look at this. He could have gone to the hole here and maybe even gotten fouled, but he's got a better shot out there. He had 3 assists in game 1, fewest of the playoffs. This game, 8 assists, completely different mindset.
And later on, once again, he draws the attention of 3 Pacers here, throws it out to Aaron Wiggins for the 3.
That's target practice.
8 assists as well in game 2 here. Let's take a listen to SGA with Scott Van Pelt after the game.
It's hard to win a series losing both at home. It's just hard. You set yourself back so much, and we knew that going into the game. The trick is trying to manufacture that desperation when it's not organic.
That's well said.
Yeah. But yeah, we had one goal in mind tonight, and that was to get a W, and we did so.
And he has scored 72 points in games 1 and 2, right? Look at this company. It's the most points in a player's first 2 career finals games in NBA history, just ahead of 01 Iverson, by the way, happy belated birthday, and 91 Jordan. What exactly, Perk? I mean, you've said I'm running out of things to say about SGA, but this is history that we're witnessing.
You're damn right it is. Look, he's the best perimeter player in basketball. He's knocking at the door of being the best player in basketball.
That was a solid knock. How did you?
He's efficient like Jordan. He's relentless like Kobe Bryant. When it comes down to how he attacks and how efficient he is, especially from the mid-range, right? When you talk about the guy that's leading the postseason in mid-range jump shots, that's him. 6'6", long arms, could post you up however you want it. Is going to create space, turnarounds over both shoulders. He's dethroned Kevin Durant, in my opinion, right now as the best scorer in the league. He has 0 flaws. Those finishes he have at the basket, when he's on the right side of the basket, then he scoop you with the left, or he's on the left side of the basket and he scoop you with the right in traffic. Do you know how hard that is to do? They don't have people doing that. He's doing it over towers, and he's doing it with confidence, swag, and a certain amount, just a little bit of arrogance. Like he knows he's him. But
that's going to be the task now of OKC to slow down SGA. Perk's already laughing. How do they do that?
Look, it's the healthy amount of arrogance. The one that makes your teammates feel confident walking on the floor with you. He got that, we say it. I try not to say it. It's been like a week. That aura of greatness. But you guys, I think what blows my mind is you see the categories that he's in with those great players. And maybe it reminds you a little bit more of Jokic because maybe the flash is not there like an MJ or like, the swag about Kobe. But the reality is efficiency is sexy. Effectiveness is sexy. Consistency is sexy. Like, I love that aspect of his game. True Hoops is back. And again, I said he brought back that mid-range. And what blows my mind is this man is 26 years old.
Yeah.
And they're on the youngest team, or is it like maybe the second youngest in play-by-play era, whatever we categorize our nerds over there say. Like one of the youngest teams in the NBA Finals. He's 26. You have iterations. You have like a decade ahead of his greatness with him mastering his craft at this level. It's beautiful.
We're getting better at categorizing what it is that Shai does. We're not getting any better at answering the question, what do the Pacers need to do?
Last night was the 83rd game he scored over 25 points. 83rd
Oh my gosh.
game. Okay, so you're not keeping his points off the board. That's not happening. Okay, so what can the Pacers do to make it in the win zone, right? So in game 1, they had him take 30 shots. They kind of stopped his teammates from getting as involved. That's one thing you can do. So 38 points on 30 shots, that's still pretty good, by the way. Like, almost anybody would take that efficiency, but it's not an A+ game for him. And they kept those assists down. Also, what you don't see on that graphic, he had 8 free throws in game 1, which sounds like a lot for the average person, but for him is slightly below average. Last night, 12 free throws. So you have to win the margins. Keep him off the line. Keep those free throws down to 7 or 8. Don't let him get double-digit free throws. Try to prevent his teammates from getting him 7, 8, 9, 10 assists.
Right.
Try to get him to get those efficiency, the shot numbers up a little bit. That's the only way you can stop him. He's getting his 30. You got to stop him from generating a bunch of other points.
So I have a question, because clearly the calculus is very hard. Like, this is AP level math. Like, this is or BC, calculus BC. Perk, is the only thing that you can do ruffle his feathers? Because we saw that also work in game 1. I mean, like, he went back and forth.
He specializes in not getting his feathers.
That's my point.
But what I'm saying is, you heard his interview on, I think it was Saturday after practice, and he said, I watched the game, I learned from it, and I moved on. And right there was growth. Whatever happened in game 1, he moved on. That didn't carry over. Now, his facial expressions throughout the course of that game with that little cocky smirk he making, like, who is these people? Like, that's never going nowhere. But again, it's just like, I've never seen nothing like this before, really, from the perimeter. Let me say not before, in this era, right? In this era of basketball, in my era. And so when I think about Jokic, like, I think about the run Jokic was having before we saw him in this series. We were like, he's unstoppable, and that's what SGA is on right now.
Well, SGA won the Conference Finals MVP. In the East, the Conference Finals MVP, Pascal Siakam, he has been struggling quite a bit here. He made just 3 of 11 shots on his way to scoring 15 points. His 3 made field goals, 27% shooting, both his worst in any game this postseason. So let's take a listen to Pascal after the game.
Yeah, I mean, they swarm a lot. They do a good job of that. I mean, yeah, they use their hands a lot. I mean, we're not going to get into fouls or no fouls, but whatever. I mean, I think they're just being aggressive, and we gotta be stronger with the ball. We can't let that speed us up. We still got to play under control. That's what we got to find a way to do.
You see what he averaged against the Knicks, Brian. How did they get him going?
Well, one of the things that he was referencing there is he's having difficulty when he's going to the basket. He's getting beat up a little bit. This is their strategy. Their strategy is to make it very physical in the paint. So they may need to find some ways to get him into sweet spots, in the mid-range and then in the three-point range to get him into more comfortable spots, because he did have a little bit of a stretch in the second quarter yesterday where he got some free looks to the paint, but they are determined to rough him up when he gets on the inside, and so far it's working.
I mean, I wonder if, with him and Tyrese Haliburton, we don't see too much pick and roll between the two, like some more two-man game, because they're trying to utilize him as 6'8", 6'9" on the post-ups. But do you realize how frustrating it is when you have smaller guards getting to your legs? Because that's the message. No, real talk. That's the message that is preached throughout the locker room. Like, when you go get cracked back, look, I want you to see this for a second. All right, he have Aaron Wiggins on him. Just look how low Aaron Wiggins is on him. This on the box out. All right, he's fighting again. Watch SGA. I'm going to fight to get around. I'm going to keep, like, that is hard. They're doing their work early. Like, people who guard people on the post, they say, do your work early. They're touching them up. They're getting to his legs. They're fronting. The weak side is coming over when they try to lob pass at the top. It's very frustrating. So we talk about Rick Carlisle, and he is a great coach. He's going to have to dive deeper into his bag now.
Well, 2 things. If they play with a little bit more pace, because I think you said this before the series started, whoever dictates the pace or the possession game typically has an advantage or disadvantage versus the Pacers. If they play with more pace, that means they're playing small ball, which means he has the 6'6", 6'7", 6'8" advantage on their guys on the Thunder. And then the second thing here is when you think about tinkering up these matchups, like, I'm really curious to see if that they use him, like you said, like in the isolation situations, or as Malika, you said, the secondary ball handler, because they've done an excellent job neutralizing. I said Oklahoma City Thunder, they're like the neutralizers, neutralizing your go-to primary scorer and ball handler. Maybe just getting him going more, initiating the offense, getting to his sweet spots will help him. But I will lastly say, like, I thought he still was playing well. He had a solid game, and to me, he's been the most consistently aggressive. Pascal Siakam.
He was 3 for 11.
I know, but when Tyrese Haliburton was struggling, like they were going to him in the offense, and that's when Tyrese is not aggressive, it puts more pressure on Pascal. If Tyrese is more aggressive, then you can get him going.
They had him in their pocket last night. He was not going last night. He struggled. He had it going in game 1. Last night, he was in their pocket.
Well, the Indiana Pacers are going home, and we know that they have thrived in this postseason when they are playing back in Indianapolis.
We'll see.
Before we go to break, in case you guys missed it, has anyone heard from Nikola Jokic lately? Because last time we saw the Joker, he said he was going to have a lot of beer this offseason. We have a sighting in very small swim trunks.
Yeah, shirt off. You know what?
Your preferred
no, but here's what I'm saying, though, right? Shout out to Big X, the plug. You know what I'm saying? He made it okay for us big fellas to feel comfortable in our skin. Might catch me around on vacation with my shirt off. I'm sending some videos out there.
We're going to go to break now.